Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Get Out of Rap. It's going to be an interesting one today because we're a collection of three very, very interesting, happy people. But even just getting to this point has been a laugh. Let's say we've had a good few 10 minutes just having a laugh. So I'm super excited that I've got Julie Mordue and Sarah Hunt, both from Greenbean. We're going to be talking about a great service that they have put together that is going to really help our industry. But both Sarah and Julie are good friends of mine. I'm sure they're well known to you guys in the industry. So I'm really looking forward to this. Hi, Julie, and hi, Sarah.
Hi, all right, Martin. What could go wrong with three people with no filters on a live on a podcast?
I know. I was just about to say that. What could go wrong? Everything. At least he's got edit.
Yes. So if this episode is 2 minutes long, you know there was a lot of editing. Now, like I said, I think you two are really well known, but maybe there are some people that are listening that don't know your background. We'll get onto Green Bean in a second, but Julie, just a quick potted history of your kind of career to date.
Wow, because I'm quite old, it'll take a long time, so I will keep it very, very short. So I started off in the contact center industry at the age of 18. I know it was only a couple of years ago, judging by the face, but with a company called Legal in General that we all know, but it was before the days of contact centers, so it was still where we actually had to pick the phone up. And yeah, that's how I evolved straight from a YTS scheme into the world of contact centers, and from there moved on to mortgage advice desk, broker advice desk, various different roles within their operation. And for the last 12 years, I've actually worked for Greenbean and put a lot of my contact center expertise into practice, building recruitment marketing campaigns, running best practice visits, best practice events, and judging for some of the regional, national, and European awards. So yeah, quite a potted career, not one I expected to take this turn, but I've kind of crafted my career as I've gone along, I guess.
And there's some similarities there with, I think both of you, I would say you absolutely give back to our industry, and that's through judging and being involved in the awards. And was that where you two met through doing that?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
actually, wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
yeah,
Both judging, I think that was the first time we actually met.
yeah, we
Obviously,
did.
we'd worked closely with the CCMA for a number of years, but then I think it was on a judging visit when I was supporting you with one of your judging visits when we first met in person, and then
Yeah, we
it's just
hit it off.
history.
We hit it off, didn't we? And then every time we did an event, an industry event, I'd be like ringing Julie up, going, "Come on, you've got to come down to this. It's going to be amazing. You know, we'll hear some great stuff, and it'll be good to cover it." So yeah, so then we kept um, meeting each other on the circuit, didn't we?
Absolutely.
And now you combined forces.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what a force it is.
Yeah. Well, we
Exactly.
kept saying that, didn't we? We kept saying we should really work together. And then this is the first opportunity we've had after knowing each other for over 10 years, really. So it's great. It's
And,
nice. Well, as we said, we're all peas in a pod.
and Sarah, for you, you're now at Green Bean. What's been kind of your potted history?
So kind of a bit similar to Julie's, to be honest. And one that you know, we all say, don't we? I started on the phones and I did. And I kind of found myself working there because someone did me a referral to somebody that they knew at Barclaycard. And I thought, right, I'm going to do this for a couple of months and I'm going to save up some money and then I'm going to go traveling. And didn't and stayed just like everyone else because there was obviously some great opportunities there. I moved around a little bit in Barclays, so started my career in financial services and then moved to retail. Loved retail, the retail sector. It was just up my street, really fast paced, exciting. You know, no day was ever the same. And again, I think I worked through, like Julie, a couple of roles there. Then went back into financial services, so did banking, insurance, and then more recently, I started off doing some judging. Actually, I was invited to do judging for a number of industry awards, and then got invited to join CCMA. So it's been great to be on that other side, actually, just helping fellow professionals and my network learn best practice and bringing all of that thought leadership and content stuff out to the contact center industry. And then more recently, joining the Greenbean team, because they're doing some amazing stuff, which is all about really elevating careers in our industry, which, as you know, is passionate to me and you guys as well. So yeah, so great opportunity to join these. So I've been here about 6 months.
It feels like such a nice, natural fit as well, because you mentioned there, and I know from all the time I've spent with you guys that this actually you're very, very genuine about how do we position our industry for one that is a career of choice rather than kind of the last choice or what I have to do. And I think, you know, we've chatted, but also on the LinkedIn live show I've shared some stats and things like that about where we are as an industry, and the stuff that you guys are doing is designed to address that and to help companies, and we're going to get into that. But for Greenbean, for those people that might not know Greenbean, Julie, what's your kind of raison d'etre, if you like? What's your purpose, and how long have the company been around?
So Greenbean is a relatively new brand name, an offshoot from our parent company, NRG. And the NRG business had a very big section of business that obviously was recruiting into contact centres, both the volume and the specialist and back office roles and the senior positions. And we knew we needed to break away in terms of our own entity and really elevate our brand outside of the region. We were working because we're based in Newcastle, but about 95% of our work was outside of the region. But the NRG stands for Northern Recruitment Group, and a lot of people associated us with Northern. So we kind of wanted a new reason to talk to market and a fresh approach. And the Greenbean brand was born. Love to say that there's reasoning behind the name, but I think at the time it was the only name that the directors could agree on. But it actually suits us really, really well. And we were born out of our mission is building meaningful careers. And our 3 values are bold, people-centric, and authentic. I can't even get my teeth in to say that, but I think you would probably say that Sarah and I are both embody those values every single day.
Definitely.
We're very bold, we're very authentic. What you see is what you get, and we're very passionate about people. And the contact center industry for me is obviously it's something I'm so passionate about, but over the last few years, I've done a lot of work in trying to raise the profile of contact center careers. And it was something that myself and the people close in my network were very, very passionate about. And we've always talked about doing something, but we never got something off the ground. It seemed as though it always built momentum, and then, you know, it's the pandemic happened and various different things that would happen, and without that driving force, it was really hard to get something off the ground as an industry to raise the careers. So now I'm absolutely thrilled about the work we're doing now, because I finally feel we're doing something about what we've talked about for years.
Yeah. I mean, you said it, Martin, didn't you? And just the intros that me and Julie did then, it's like, you know, we've all had really successful careers in the contact center industry, and, you know, and it does get a bad rap. And, you know, when I know there's lots of people like us kind of trying to, you know, push down that kind of view of the world, but it still does exist a little bit, isn't it? And we want to showcase that you can have an absolutely fabulous career. You know, as we've said, you can move around loads of different departments. You know, I've been doing it for like over 25 years. You know, you can earn really well out of it, and that's where we want to be, really, isn't it?
I think
absolutely.
You both hit the nail on the head, and that comment, meaningful career, I love it. You know, the whole concept, if you think about the 3 of us, some of the things we share is we all started on the phones, but it was never our plan to have a career in this industry. And I think for a lot of people, certainly in our network, they would say the same thing. There's a common thread in everyone that's ever come on the podcast, really, that started on the phones, was it happened without design, you know, and at a time now where our industry is at the forefront of technology, there aren't as many industries, I don't think, that have as much variety, that, you know, as much choice of where you want to go to suit your skill set. We are at the forefront of inclusivity and accepting everyone's differences, and actually kind of championing those. Yet, to your point, there's still a bit of a stigma attached to being in the industry. So also, like I mentioned earlier, we've chatted, haven't we, about, is our industry suffering at the moment from a greater than usual attraction problem and retention problem? Is that fair to say?
So I guess that the project that we've that we'll go on to talk about, that we've done, was in response to what our clients were telling us, what the industry was telling us, what we were experiencing ourselves from the recruitment funnel. It's getting harder and harder to attract candidates to the role. They've got more choice than ever. You've got some of the supermarket chains to stack shelves are paying more than in a contact center, but the skills are a lot, you know, they're needing a lot more skills for that role. So we definitely are experiencing challenges throughout the recruitment funnel. We're finding more and more candidates dropping out of the recruitment funnel. So say, for example, to get 10 heads to start in a training cohort, we're having to triple how many go in at the top of the recruitment funnel. So people are dropping out of that process because they've got so many different choices to go for. And you know, it is a very, very challenging market. So what we felt is, in response to what our clients were telling us and the experience that we were having, was that we needed to do something different, because not only is it damaging a client's employer brand, having people leaking out of a funnel and dropping out of the recruitment process, and especially when it comes to the sort of the vetting period, that can be a period in the recruitment process where you see a lot of dropouts, because if they can get offered down the road, you know, 2 weeks earlier, they will drop out. So we needed to look at what we could do to not only engage candidates from an earlier point of view, make them stickier throughout the recruitment process, but also show them how good the industry is, and not let them have that job shock on day one of going in and go, oh, didn't realize I actually have to speak to customers, or, oh, why are you scrutinizing every little thing I do? So it can be quite daunting if somebody doesn't understand the industry. So we needed to sort of plug that leaky bucket, for want of a better word, of putting people into this funnel that are dropping out the bottom end and are going to, you know, have a perception of the contact center industry if that experience wasn't great for them, or if it wasn't right for them. So almost trying to make sure that the people we put in on day one fully know what they're getting themselves in for through a pre-boarding program that'll set their expectations, let them know what the industry is all about, let them know what to expect on day one, but also show them the commitment of the organization, that they're going to invest in them, in their professional accreditation. And, you know, this program that we've designed will start all the way through the point of offer to onboarding, through either academy or their probation, and they'll get foundation level accreditation through the forum at the end of it. So it's quite, I love saying the word innovative, but it's very rare it actually comes out right. So I've said it once, I don't need to say it again. I'll just say it was that previous word. So yeah, it's going to revolutionize how we attract people into the industry, because if they've got a choice between retail, hospitality, leisure, but they've got somebody that's going to invest in their career, and they're going to get a certificate at the end of it that can add on to their profile, it shows how invested they are in the journey before they start on day one. They're not going to have that job shock. It's going to reduce early attrition, and it's just, I've got goosebumps now just even thinking about it, because I get so excited about it. So I'm going to breathe.
The thing is as well, Martin, as you know, this isn't a new problem. This, you know, contact centres have been having attrition from 30 to 50% for years and years, and it's almost like, why have we not cracked it? You know, what are we doing wrong? And you know, we all know the phrase bums on seats, isn't it? Resource planning suddenly tell you need to get bums on seats, and you get everyone scurrying out trying to find as many people as they can, push them through, get them into training, and then they all leave, and you kind of going, well, why is that happening? So this is in response to that industry challenge that has never gone away. And
think
as
you're
Julie
right.
said, look, it's all about showing that you as an organization are invested in your people right from day one. And actually, no, it's not even from day one, it's before day one. This is like absolutely pre-boarding stuff, so that you're keeping them warm, because like Julie said, they can walk down to Nando's down the road and get a similar salary potentially, you know, maybe not, you know, get not speak to customers because they're actually behind grilling or something like that. So this is about saying could be an amazing career for you. Let's hold your hand all the way through it. Let's invest in you. Let's start your training and development program so that you can have a career which takes you anywhere. Quality, digital, customer experience, all of those things. Yeah.
Now, like all good revolutionaries, right? You're very passionate about what you've come up with, but let's just take it back. So it is a problem we've had in our industry for a long time. Even some of our vocabulary, right? Kind of we all used to like, oh, we've had some no-shows, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of so you've seen the problem, and rather than just throw more of the same at it, you've been creative and innovative, and you've come up with a new program process. Let's start with, what's it called? What is it?
Okay,
Sarah, do you want to go?
yeah, so it's called GOOW, which is getting ready for opportunities at work. So again, it's not just the start of your development journey, but this is the bit.
Nice.
So it's all about bringing new talent into our industry. So potentially people that may not have chose to go into a contact center role, and bringing those skills and experience into a contact center role, and recruiting the right people from a attitude point of view, potentially, rather than past experience, bringing them in and putting them through a tailored e-learning program alongside supporting them through their onboarding journey. So we as an organization take them through that. We will hold their hands all the way through it. We'll be informative. We'll keep them up to date. And alongside that, they will be doing an e-learning program, which is accredited by the Forum, one of the industry bodies at the end, and they can carry on through an accreditation program after that. But this one's all about, as Julie said, preparing them for the contact center industry. So we do modules on coaching and development, what it feels like to be coached, you know, how you take feedback, and what you can do with your coaching plan, all of that really good stuff. It goes into some of the simple things around terminology around contact centers. So, you know, we all love an acronym, don't we? Like the RP team, the QA team, the this and the that, you know, KPIs, NPS, all of that. So it goes through all of that kind of stuff in real detail. And the great thing about it is you can it's bite size, so you can do it on the bus or, you know, on the tram or anything like that, or, you know, and it's up to you how you do it. So it caters for lots of different learning styles.
So if I'm a candidate or potential candidate, I can get access to this GOOW process before before I've come for my interview, or?
So what happens is when a candidate is offered a position and they then go enter the vetting period, they then, it can change depending on what the client's requirements are, but generally speaking, they would then be given access to the e-learning platform. And like Sarah says, it's mobile enabled, so it can be used on mobile devices or laptops. And each module is designed to be less than 10 minutes. So they can be listened to on their commute. It can be listened to, you know, while they're lying in bed or watching TV, dual screening, whatever people tend to do now. And there's 4 bite-sized modules before they would start on day one. So you're looking at a maximum of 40 minutes in total before day one, and at 10 minutes at a time. So it's very, very minute. It shows to the business how invested the candidate is in their own development and their own learning, because they're showing their own commitment towards learning. But also by the time they land on day one, they'll have gone through the history of contact centres, the evolution. I learned loads on that module when I listened to it, and I thought I knew everything. But I actually learned quite a lot about how the industry has evolved and where it started. And then some of the other modules are around the power of one, why it's important you're on the phone at any one time, what impact that has to the customer. So it sets the scene and tells them a lot of that before they land on day one, so there's no shock about it, that, you know, they are playing a really important role. It also goes through, you know, what the different career pathways are in a contact centre, that this could be the foot in the door to an amazing career, and tells you about the little the different departments and the different routes that you can take on your career pathway. So they should be excited. It's a good touch points all the way through that vetting period, or while they're waiting to start. It's engaging. It's a high touch point. Our guys are on the phones, checking in with them, whether they've completed the modules. All of that is taken care by our delivery teams. So hopefully by the time they land on day one, they're not just excited about a new job, but they're excited about a career, because they've had all of that foundation. And then from that point on, the next part of the modules is designed to complement the internal training team. So it's not to take away from the internal training teams, it's to complement with another 4 box sets.
I think anything that it sounds great, because anything that helps people become fully informed about where they might be going, but also, and I'm a huge advocate of this, of us actually saying, it's not just the role you're going to do. Yes, that adds value. Yes, it's really important, but it could just be the starting point for what can be, as you said earlier, a meaningful career. And I think it would be really reassuring if I was, it would certainly, I think most of our starting experiences were the other end of this spectrum, right? Where you didn't really know what you were coming into. It was a shock. You felt underprepared. You felt a bit kind of spun out of control, really, that it was dizzying what you felt like you had to do. If I know that prior to even starting, I'm getting exposed to what it's going to be like, what's possible, what's going to be expected of me. I think it's a really good point about the terminology as well, so that you don't feel excluded straight away, that you've got some kind of base understanding of what people around you are talking about. I think it's great.
Yeah. And the other thing is, sorry, go on.
No, it's all right.
And then the other thing as well is, what we wanted to do is that other industries, some have those accreditation bits assigned to it, don't they? So if you wanted to be a mortgage advisor, you would go through you know, all your exams in order to do that. And what we haven't got that in our industry. No one's really doing that. So what we wanted to do is start that with the forum guys, to say, this is the start of your learning journey, and you know, and we're going to reward you for learning as well. We're going to say to you, here you go, you're accredited, you're successful, you can move on to the next phase. So we think that's really important as well, because nobody's really doing that.
I think it professionalizes our industry, and we've been crying out for something like that says, you know, because even if I say even, I don't want to be disparaging, but if you look at some of the other places we're in competition with, so whether that's fast food or you mentioned supermarkets, McDonald's, Tesco's, they have training programs that start from day one, and we've needed for a long time the equivalent of that, and we've kind of shied away from it a little bit. I don't know why that is. So I
don't take anything away from, a lot of businesses have got excellent induction and onboarding programs. What we want to try and do is just have that seamless experience for candidates, so that before they get to that, they're not overwhelmed on day one. They know what to expect. We won't lose as many people, you know, out of a cohort of 10, do we normally lose 5? Because by the time if they haven't done and invested their time in this e-learning, they're not going to start on day one. So we're not going to lose them out of the industry, and we're not going to lose them out of our training team. So hopefully it's a win-win, because the clients are only kind of build on who is going to embark on the program. So we would know upfront, you know, are they the right people?
Yeah.
And this is something then that you're giving to all of your clients, yeah?
It's we're running pilots at the moment, and it's available to any contact center industries, but we're also doing a few different models because we're aware that some clients want to have something white labeled of themselves. They want their own language, so we do have a bespoke model that we can do and work with clients to create their own. Or it can be worked where they don't use us for the recruitment, but they want to bolt on this GOOW program onto their own. A lot of businesses have got huge internal recruitment teams, and it can be used as a bolt on to that, so that the candidates can still have that GOOW experience and go through the professionalization, but they will manage the recruitment. So we've got various different models to it to suit very different in-house models, outsource models. We are an RPO and a partnership business, so yes, it's available to our clients, but it's also available to the wider industry. And we're not just saying it's a one size fits all. You've got to give us all of your recruitment. You can do it where you're using us for the GOOW program, or you can use us for a fully bespoke module. So we're in very early days with that now. We've got a few pilots up and running. We're really excited to see the data coming out of the other side, to see, yeah, we said we'd reduce your early attrition. We said we'd increase your quality. So we're so excited to get all the data coming out of the bottom end of it.
Yeah.
I really like the idea as well that this points to who you guys are, because you're not gatekeeping it. You're offering it to internal teams as a tool for them to use. So yeah, sure, you would benefit in a small way, but actually, again, this is because you're passionate about making it a better experience for people joining the industry, whether they've used you for the recruitment or they've used their internal team. I really like that.
Yeah. What we don't want is people leaving and saying, oh, I started in this organization and, I hated it. I left after day 2. What we all know what a great career it can be, and talking to lots of other professionals, we want them to go in and go, I was fully prepared. I knew what I was going into. I was excited about it. And since then, I've had an amazing career on the back of it. That's kind of where we want people to be.
Well, also, it will be creating a peer-to-peer network for advisor level coming into the industry. So we know we've got great networks ourselves at sort of mid to senior and exec level. But for the people coming through from team leader community that you run, Martin, beneath that there isn't any sort of peer-to-peer networking for those guys. So we're hoping that this will bring together a cohort so that there is that level of network, that level of sharing best practice, of getting to know the team members before the start, but also team members in other industries as well, and make it look like, actually demonstrate how much of a professional industry it is.
Yeah, and as we said before, this is only the start of their journey. After that, they can go and do other training and development modules in other areas, or add on to where they are, and and just continually keep on learning.
I would be like I say, I would be reassured as a candidate that you weren't I was entering an industry that wasn't just going to try and take what it could from me. It was going to give me something. It was going to give me skills, and that actually starts from, like you say, not even day one, right? Before that.
Yeah.
So I think something like this is long overdue, and well done for you guys putting it together. And like you, I'd be great to see the output of how that's gone. Have you had any early kind of feedback?
We've had early feedback, but no data as yet. So I wouldn't want to, talk about the data until we've come to the end of the pilots that we've got. But yeah, it's all heading in the right direction. It's all very, very positive, and we can't wait. Obviously, some clients may not want us to share their data,
of course,
but for those that do, we'll be obviously building some case studies around it. It'll be super exciting.
Yeah, I mean, if we can change some of the stats that are around at the moment, around 84% of people recruited for the wrong job, 4 out of 5 candidates say that experience that they have from day one shows what value their organisation gives them. If we can change the dial on all those stats, which we think we will be able to do with GOOW, I mean, it's a phenomenal, savings, isn't it, and investment in our industry.
Oh, it's huge. You think about I talk to so many people and hear so many stories of success, but they're done in spite of the environment. They're done in spite of what that early process was like. Not at the company she's at now, but on the podcast, I had an award-winning team leader who, when she first joined the contact center industry, at no point was it made clear that she's going to be on the phones talking to customers. It was a vague sort of generic customer service role. You had to kind of fill in the gaps. And like I say, I think we've shied away from letting people make fully informed decisions. How much more informed could you be if you were doing like some 5-10 minute bite-sized modules? You absolutely would be able to make a fully informed decision as to whether this would be the career for you. And I think that sort of thing can set us apart from the other industries, let's be honest, that we are in competition with for the early entry. So for the next generation of people coming into our industry, we're in a fight, and we have to be creative. So for what you're doing, I love it. I absolutely love it, because it's trying something different.
It's exactly doing what you were saying, Martin, is that whole, Julie referenced it as well, that job shock, that, it talks about, we all know that everything is measured in contact centers, every little bit of what you do and how you do it is all measured. And this brings this to life to say, well, you are measured, but these are the reasons why. And, this is the benefit of them. And this is what will happen when with your journey. And once you know that, I think you're okay with it. I think you can sit back and go, I get it now. I get why we measure customer information, and I get why we've got a quality team, because at the end of the day, it's about servicing customers and treating your people right.
And I think another area is the people that influence people's career making choices. So, we may do a fantastic recruitment program, telling them all about the industry, but then they go home and say, oh, contact center, you don't want to do that. So I think if they can demonstrate and show and be proud of the journey that they've been on, and go, well, actually, you're a bit misinformed, or it doesn't seem as though it's like that now, and they can evidence and show some of the reasons for those myths that are still around, then hopefully it will help and be like a pebble in a pond. The ripples will get bigger of how good the industry is. So yeah, I can't wait to see this hopefully transform. And as Chris Rainsworth says, he thinks this will become the gold standard in how we attract talent to the contact center industry. He thinks this will be the route in.
Yeah. I thought we were going to get a whole episode without mentioning Chris.
I know. He should be here, really, shouldn't he? He should be with us.
Well, Chris is a good friend of mine and the show, of course. So you guys combining with him and everyone at the forum is just a match made in heaven. And you know what? To your point, if we can have advocates out there, something is crazy, isn't it? I was talking to some friends of mine in our football team, who ours is the only industry, from everyone around the table, we're having a beer after the game, from everyone around the table, ours is the only industry where it's standard to coach people, to take them out of their day and coach them once a week, and there was no one else. So we've got car salesmen, project managers, we've got manual workers, we've got people working in Audi, we've got all of this. They're in the job and they're just doing the job. At no point do their supervisors or team leaders or managers say, right, come away, I've got some stats here that are going to help me make you be better at your job. And that for us, that's considered the norm, that it's normal for us to coach people and make them better. Yet we're everyone else looks down at our industry. It's mental. So for this sort of thing, for what you're doing, like you say, that exact example is going to happen. Someone's going to be sat with their family or their friends, and they're going to go, no, look at this. Look what's possible, or look how I'm going to be treated whilst I'm there. So
look at the investment in me. Yeah, look at the art of the possible. I could, this is where my career could be in 10 years, 20 years time. Yeah.
And you mentioned as well that how does it work then when once you're in and you may be into an academy? You mentioned it could be like bespoke. Is it
Yeah,
like
I
a
mean,
handover? Is it like a handover?
we will, if it's the off-the-shelf model, we will continue with the next box set. We'll call them box sets. They'll continue with the next box set, which will be 4 further modules that they can, and it depends on what our clients say to us, that they want to have a presentation ceremony at the end of the academy or grad bay, or if they want to wait until the end of probation, then they get the foundation level accreditation, which gets them over that hurdle of the 6-month early attrition. So it goes alongside the internal training teams, but we would still manage that process. So it's independent of the business. We would score it, making sure that they do, score it. It's not as though there's tests. The first module ends with a bit of a gentle quiz, because we can't ask them what they would put into practice because they haven't started the job yet, but it's just to kind of gauge their understanding. The next part of it will be, what will you put into your learning? What have you learned from this that you can apply to your day-to-day role? And that is on the second part once they're already in the role, so they'll have a flavour for what they're doing then. So yeah, it works alongside the training teams. But if a contact centre hasn't got their own training teams, or they feel that their induction training needs a bit of a revamp, we'll work with them to do a bespoke project absolutely as well. So nothing's off the table on this, just the common denominator throughout it all is to make sure that we've got a positive candidate experience. It's as swift as it possibly can be. It professionalizes the sector and highlights and promotes the contact center industry as working as a career of choice.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great. So, and I've seen in some of your feeds and on your website, there's some infographics. Obviously people can contact you too. Where should people go though to find out more?
So on the Greenbean website, it's greenbeanrpo.com /grow. Or you can contact either myself or Sarah on LinkedIn, and we've got some very snazzy digital flip books we can share with you that brings it to life. Our team here just love the sound of turning pages on these flip books. That's so excited over that. Or just contact us, and we've got a fantastic lady called Georgia who heads up our GOOW program and the delivery teams here, and she's back to back at the moment doing just 30-minute demos of the program. Yeah. So, if anybody wants just a free demo without any obligation, you can tell we're really passionate. We're not hard, brutal salespeople. We just want to show you the platform. The more people that know about the platform and they know about what's happening in the industry, the more people that are talking about it.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, I, for one, would really love to have you come back and tell us what you're finding, what you're seeing, what the data's telling you, and also what are the candidate, how's it changed the candidate experience as well. So I'd love for you to come back on. How do you feel about that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And any opportunity to wax lyrical.
Yeah, and to spend some time with you as well, Martin, of course.
Well, stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
Any opportunity to have a look at that wallboard and see what's been what's new on it. Yeah.
Well, look, Julie, Sarah, thanks so much for coming on. It always puts a smile on my face seeing you two. So, and like I say, I love what you do, and I think the more things like this that we can do, the better. So I wish you all the best. It's a great concept, great model, and I hope it does really well.
Oh,
thank you so much, Martin. Thank you.
Catch up soon. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.